Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Well, I didn't think I was going to do this, but I am going to go ahead with it. We're going to go ahead and discuss Intel making a fool of themselves. Pretty much everybody else has already made a video on this, but I wanted to go ahead and put in my 2 cents. Given that I've seen this happen before from Intel, I was in the computer industry at the time when Intel first did this to AMD. And the whole reason why they got sued. Now, I don't know what's going on with the people over at Intel or what's going on with the board of directors or even the CEO, CFOs, the marketing director or whomever agreed or okayed this slide deck to ever go public. But this is about the worst thing you could possibly do for your business, is allow a slide deck like this to go public, basically bashing your competition with no excuse. It is utterly horrible that they allowed anyone to ever see this. I mean, to call the EPYC series of processors a glued together desktop product, that is something that should never have been made public. I don't care if you want to make fun of it or not. I mean, don't get me wrong, AMD kind of did deserve that comment just a little bit, given that they said the same thing to Intel with Intel's first dual-core desktop product. But then again, Intel really did glue together two single-core CPUs. There was no type of fabric, there was no type of back-end that actually made it a dual-core CPU. It was just two single-core CPUs literally glued to the same package. Not exactly the same thing, but I'll give it to Intel for, wanting to make the joke. There's a big difference between a joke and a public statement. This is why I do not understand how in the world the people over at Intel allowed this slide deck to come out. Now, first of all, Intel loses a lot of credibility by allowing this to be published. 100% they're going to lose credibility, and they're going to lose credibility with big firms, because the big firms all know that, hey, this is not something you should have ever put out. What you're doing is a PR nightmare. What you're causing is you're getting real close to the ability to get sued again, only this time it's for libel. This is just something that should have never seen the light of day. And as many of the other tech guys out there have stated, it's kind of funny, but this is the most unprofessional you could possibly get. Now, granted, this is probably the closest thing Intel can do this time around to what they did the last time around when they actually got caught buying off vendors. Because that's not going to happen again with the information technology and everything the way it is now, and how fast information travels from one place to another. There is no way that Intel could get away with buying off, even through discount programs or whatever, buying off suppliers and buying off producers of major networking systems the way they did the last time. Basically, and not allowing AMD any market share through illegal and illicit practices. Intel knows that if they get caught on that charge again, they're hosed. This time it's not going to be a couple $2 billion. I think they still owe almost $2 billion to the European Commission. I think they did finally pay AMD the 1-point-something billion that they owed them. But I think they also still owe the federal government some money in fines and stuff as far as that goes, back to those lawsuits. But don't quote me on that, because I'm not 100% sure. I'm almost 100% sure on the Eastern European thing, where they still owe them a little over $1 billion in fines. But see, what happened around the last time, and this is where people need to understand, is this is cyclical. This happens over and over and over again in every industry. What happened the last time is Intel stepped up to all the partner manufacturers and said, hey, look, we don't want to be the only person you're buying stuff from, but you need to buy 90% our product and you can buy 10% their product. Well, that's an issue. And that's literally what they did. They told all their vendors, you have to sell 9 of ours to 1 of theirs. If you don't, we're going to withhold that payback money for your chip discount for purchasing so many chips from us. Not only are we going to withhold it, but what they did with Dell was actually told them, we're going to give that money to your competition. If you screw with us, we're going to give your discount money that you are entitled to. We're going to just go ahead and hand that over to your competition so that they can fight you better. Well, think about it. If you're in business, I mean, you're kind of getting the sheet pulled over your eyes, and you kind of got a gun to your head. What are you going to do? Well, this time around, like I said, I don't think Intel can do anything like that. But it does need to be stated that also this time around, I don't know what in the world they're thinking, because they're going to end up right back in a lawsuit if they keep allowing stuff like this to get published. There is absolutely no reason why anybody should ever have allowed this card deck to see this light of day. Now, granted, some of the stuff they have in here, like I said, some of it's kind of poking fun, and some of it's kind of like going back to the good old days of computers when they could get away with a little bit more. But in this day and age, with the lawsuits and everything the way that they are, there is no reason at all, ever. I mean, management should be getting their butts handed to them by the board of directors over the slide deck. I would actually like to see somebody probably fired over this, and if I was one of the people in charge in that board of directors, I would make sure that somebody lost their job, because this is going to do more damage to Intel than Epic could have done on its own. And in business, that's something you definitely have to look out for. Now, the whole reason why I'm even covering this subject today is if you noticed, I kind of put up all the stuff for the channel's name and statement and everything. And you notice what comes first is business. Tech stuff is about business and gaming technology. Now, I'm more focused on the business end of things than I am focused on the gaming. Face it, anybody can put out a gaming video. $50 for a game, and you can record yourself and do whatever you want. That's not really the point of this channel. I don't really care about gaming so much. Yes, I do game every now and then, but that is not the reason why I started this channel. That's not what I want to cover. I'm more interested in the actual business aspect. I am going to be buying at some point in time an Epic server. Don't know how much of one, because this is all self-financed. I don't have anybody help me out with it. But I will probably be getting my hands on an Epic server. If nothing else, I'll be replacing my current server, my current backup server, with an Epic server, so I can do some work with it and see exactly what the architecture can do. Now, I also have gotten at least one comment that asked me to check out some information as far as the Radeon Vega FE goes in video production, and I will be looking into that. So look forward to an actual video production based video probably here in the next week, where I can kind of cover what is implemented right now in the drivers and what is not implemented in the drivers, as far as the HVAC or H.265 codecs, as far as how that's working. I'll also kind of go over the H.264 and how that's kind of working at the moment. And of course, I am lucky enough that I am still borrowing that Vega Frontier Edition until somebody tells me I have to give it back. So that's going to help me out a lot with that. And I've been putting it through its paces as far as some production and some work software goes, just to see how well this card actually handles. And I'll tell you, for production work, for media work, it's nice. I like it. I like it a lot. But to get back to what this video was actually about, and you've seen some of the more interesting slides go ahead and go across the screen while I've been talking to you. this is, I'm going to call it like it is. This is horseshit. There is no reason at all. If I were a business owner and I own this business and I saw my marketing team put something like this together, there is no reason I would ever have let this see the light of day. Because there's a lot more to worry about nowadays than whining and complaining who's got the better product, especially in business. And one of the biggest things that you have and that you must protect in business is your image. Well, Intel just put theirs in the toilet. By allowing this to go out, Intel put theirs in the toilet because there's a lot of biased information in this that has no realm whatsoever in the real world. And there's a lot of information in this that is just plain deceitful. It does not compare apples to apples. It does not discuss what's actually going on. And as somebody else brought up in one of the slides here, the list of people that Intel exclusively works with. Yeah, about 80% of those AMD works with too. So, this will not be the normal function or way that my videos will be working, but in this one case, I did decide that, yep, there's a slide right there. In this one case, I did decide that it was of interest, business-wise, for me to explain why this is not acceptable and explain why this is going to do more damage to Intel as a company than AMD could right now, and that Intel has no one to blame but themselves. But we'll just have to keep watching to see how dirty Intel gets this time around. One of the most important things in business is to keep yourself in a higher regard than your competitors and make sure that you are the man standing on top or woman standing on top when it's all said and done. Intel is known to play dirty. They are known in every market that they are in that they play dirty. I'm just wondering really how bad it'll get this time around. Well, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I know it was just me mostly talking and not really going over a whole lot. If you didn't like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. But let me know in the comments what kind of videos you'd like to see in the future. I'm glad someone already has. I am more than happy to make the videos that you want to see, as long as I can get a hold of the parts, the pieces, the software, and everything involved with it. Again, this is a more business-related channel, and I hope to see you again soon.